you kind of recreate, and you have the power and the, like the power and the space to recreate at every stage of your life.
Hello and welcome to the live screening of Two Black Women. It's your girl, Simi Shalabo, and I'm not only on your waves, but I'm also on your screens. Hello and welcome back to another live podcast episode of Two Black Women. As you know, this season is all about introducing you to Black women who inspire me and keep the conversation about Black womanhood, adulting, just creating spaces for ourselves alive. So today I want to talk about cultivating your life. So many times we don't think that we have the opportunity to make the lives that we want, to be able to say no, to say yes. And so I had to have somebody who inspired me to say no to things I don't want, but yes to the opportunities out there. And her name is Basmah. Basmah is the only reason I survived law school, but also the only reason I started to take my mental health more seriously, how I was able to create more opportunities that I wanted and that I could involve people that I wanted to be part of my experience. So I am excited. I'm more than ecstatic. Ecstatic. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic to introduce to you Basmah. She is the creator of Black Girl Feels and my personal ride or die. So, hi. Welcome to the Two Black Women couch.
Honestly, I'm loving this couch. It's so comfortable. I'm feeling the vibe already. I'm excited for this conversation.
It's so funny because you are a vibe creator.
Oh God. I try. I like a vibe.
Wherever you go, you actually you come in with this air and this presence that allows people not only to be themselves, but also you're you are safe here. Mm-hmm. This is your safe space, accountable. Mm-hmm. And safe space.
Yeah, you gotta stay accountable for sure. But yeah.
So, I'm not gonna ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. We'll learn about you as we go on. But today we are talking about cultivating the life that you want. So when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Honestly, it's very, very different from where I'm actually at right now. But I wanted to be an interior designer for as long as I could remember. I remember when I was in my high school class, my high school teacher told or kind of asked us to go around and tell each other what we wanted to be in life. And I said interior designer, and people were kind of giving me weird looks. And I think from there, it kind of deterred me to going into maybe following another route. But I mean, I still love interior design. I'm just not an interior designer. I'm a lawyer, which is very, very different. But yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I was younger.
But it's funny because I've been to your apartment and you're an interior designer at heart. You're an interior designer at heart.
It brings me joy. And I think I've always been a creative inside. I love that. It brings me joy. And honestly, I'm kind of happy that I haven't monetized that, because I think that takes the joy out of the art and the creation for me.
I get that. Mm-hmm. So you wanted to cultivate spaces, but now you've cultivated this life that is beautiful. I get to be a part of it. So I'm honored. I'm actually intrigued. I'm honored and intrigued to just kind of watch you create this life. So how do you go about cultivating the life that you have right now? And then what was the moment when you realized that you had the option? You didn't have to just do what everyone said you were supposed to do, or your culture said you were supposed to do. You were no, this is my life, I want to cultivate it.
I mean, I'm gonna have to give it up to my mom first and foremost. Unlike most African households where you have to be a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, my mom didn't care what I became. That wasn't even a point of discussion for her. It was just whatever makes you happy. So I've kind of just led my life in that way, what feels right in this moment. I've prayed over every decision I've made. God is a really big, religion, faith is a very big influence in my life. And I feel God leads me in every decision that I make. So I feel those are the roots of how I kind of cultivate the life that I want and I have, I feel you never land. I feel you kind of recreate, and you have the power and the yeah, like the power and the space to recreate at every stage of your life. I feel like you can land if you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think you can get up and change your life if you want to. Like, I think people kind of think you're stuck at one spot. Even when you're young, they ask, like, what do you want to be when you're younger, right? Like, it's just this one static thing that you have to do for the rest of your life. And I don't think so, you know?
I honestly, that was empowering for me because I'm the person who is like, I can't recreate my life. I've created this life. I'm stuck. And I honestly, when I mean, like, I met you and I was like, oh, like, things can be different. And I love when I get to do that. I love when I meet people who are like, oh, I got to recreate my life. Like, I don't have to do the 9 to 5 every day. I don't have to work the 16-hour law days. Like, I can say no and I can say yes. And so what do you do when things, like, no longer serve you? Because you said it, like, you can recreate your life, but that's also, like, saying no to, like, your comfortability, like, what people expect of you. Like, so
it's
just
hard.
give us the tea.
I think I'm still learning that, because I think right now I'm in one of those transitional phases where, you know, I'm trying to, you know, kind of see where, I mean, I'm, you know, 28, about to turn 29.
Oh,
don't watch that.
Looking like snack.
No, you know, like I'm pushing 30, right? I'm getting into my 30s. I feel like this is a very transformative time for me, and it's a transitional time for me. I just started my career as a lawyer last year. I'm not even 9 months into my practice, but like, I'm trying to keep my options open in the sense that, you know, I know maybe I have the ability to change my life, or change my path, or like do multiple things at once, you know, like even though it's a lot of work to do multiple things at once, you have the power to, right? And people kind of forget that. But in terms of like things that no longer serve you, I think it's important to recognize why it's not serving you. Like, what exactly isn't serving you about this particular thing in your life? And also being, I think, grateful for the opportunities. That's how I lead my life, you know? Like, I'm like, okay, this person or this opportunity is like trash. Bye. You know what I mean? Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, I lead my life with gratitude. Like, I'm like, this opportunity was, you know, led to X, Y, Z for me. That's great. It's no longer in alignment with where I am right now, but that's fine. Same thing with people. Like, I don't think people are disposable. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're kind of in a cutoff culture, which is like
everyone's getting cut. Everyone's getting canceled.
Cut. No, like, I feel like that's super individualistic, and I think that's, I mean, by all means, if someone is toxic, like, you don't owe them time or anything like that. But I think, like, otherwise, I feel like it's important to like remember that this thing served you. Yeah. This opportunity was important for your survival at one point in your life, but now it's like no longer for you. And just taking that leap of faith. I put, again, prayer in the middle of everything that I do. So that's how I kind of handle those transitions, with like gratitude and just prayer and a lot of research too. Like, what am I actually stepping into? Because I don't want to throw everything away too.
I think one thing that's getting me emotional is that gratitude piece. Like, I think I grew up in an area where first I gave too much love. I was like, here, everything in the world deserves more love than I do. Everything in the world deserves my time more than I do, and my energy. And then I got bitter. And then I was like, y'all don't deserve any of me. I'm done. I'm cutting people off, right, left. Ooh, I don't like you. And I never took it as gratitude, because I've seen, like, I was so focused on that hurt and so focused on like being mad at myself that I didn't cultivate the life that I wanted. And so when you said gratitude, it kind of made me think back to like all the opportunities that I've had and why every single one of them at the time was needed.
100%. I think, I mean, again, I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason, and everything enters your life for a reason, and you learn lessons from it. You're propelled forward by certain things, you know? So that's why I'm just like, maybe that's why I hold on to things for too long, you know what I mean? Because I do recognize, like, oh my God, like this, you know?
I hold on to things for way too long.
No, I know. Like, I hold on to things and people and opportunities for way too long. Like, but I think that's where, like, good counsel is very, very important. I don't think anyone is self-made. I don't know what that means. Like, everyone has a community around them. So good counsel, therapy, you can pay for that counsel too, you know, like
therapy,
yeah,
period. That's it.
Prayer.
Live podcast over, therapy.
Yeah, no. I mean, therapy has been, I've had a like up and down relationship with therapy, but in this transitional moment of my life, like I think it's been very, very helpful in realizing, especially that like literally yesterday I learned in therapy that like, you know, certain things were important for your survival.
Yeah.
They're no longer in alignment with you now, but like it's okay to like, you know, to recognize that. Yeah. Like it's okay, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that we were going to bring up therapy, but therapy literally changed my whole outlook on life. I think if I hadn't gone to therapy, I would have been stuck in the same cycles. Yeah. Because that's the thing, when you don't take responsibility to cultivate your life, you get stuck in cycles again and again and again. And I think therapy was the one thing that opened up my mind to like, hey, like first, this is a cycle. Because like you said, you have to spot that this is no longer serving you. Hey, this is a cycle. You have the power to change that cycle. And then you kind of get to that point where you realize you have the power to change that cycle. Yeah. You're like, oh, what do I do now? And so for me, one thing I had to realize about my life is like, I had to figure out what I wanted my life to look like. So I want my life to look like good friends. Yes. I've been telling people for days, I don't do half friendships anymore.
No, we don't do that.
We don't do that. We don't do that anymore. Also, they served me for a period because there was a period where I couldn't be emotionally connected to anyone.
Exactly.
And so I had to thank all the people I had half friendships with, but also be like, I'm moving on to another stage in my life. Another thing is I needed open communication. Like I can't have relationships where I can't be like honest with you and talk to you. But then I also realized I got to cultivate the way my life looks. Like I want joy.
Yes.
I want happiness. I want trips. I want rich auntie vibes till the day I die. I want money to flow to me. I want to be a generous person. And so all of those things I had to like stop and be like, I'm none of those things right now. And instead of getting angry at myself, I had to say, thank you for this version of myself. I had to thank myself too. I was like, this version of yourself was a survival mode. Yeah. We survived a lot. That version. We survived.
We're here. We're here.
Look at us. Out here glistening, glowing, shining.
You know that glossy.
You know that highlight though. Oh my God. Fenty skin. And so those are some of the things I knew I needed to cultivate the life that I wanted. So what were some of the things that you realized that you wanted to like cultivate in your life?
I think speaking of cycles, I think I had to break out of the cycle that I think we all get stuck in really early on, because we're conditioned to think that you're chasing a career, you're chasing a title, like what is your dream job, right? But again, I don't dream of labor, I don't dream of work. It's not something, and I think that's something that I dream of like having nice things, but I don't dream of working. And I had to like kind of decolonize my mind in that way, because that's how we were conditioned from a really, really long time. So with respect to breaking cycles, I think I had to recognize that was a cycle that we're all stuck in, especially in the legal profession when there's so many kind of like goalposts and oh my God. Anyways, we won't even go down that road. Yeah, it's but like now that I'm here, you know, like I've gone through all the goalposts and I've arrived. I'm a practicing lawyer. 9 months into my actual practice, like I'm already realizing that, you know, this is great, but again, like chasing the job it's not the way that it was sold in like Suits, for example. Like it just wasn't the way that it was sold to me. And that's fine. I think it's great. But like I also want to, I guess, not just fit myself into a job, into a role. Like I want to, like I'm chasing a feeling. Like I'm chasing like a vision that I have for myself, right? And you know, I have thoughts on manifesting, which we won't get into this episode. We'll get into another episode, maybe.
Let's not go there. We might be here for an hour.
You know, but for me, I think there's a lot of power in writing things down, in visualizing what you want your life to look like. And I think I do a lot of that. I dream a lot, like I mean, I'm constantly daydreaming. I'm always in my head. And again, like I'm chasing peace. I'm chasing, or maybe I just want it to come to me. Maybe I'm not chasing it, but I want peace to come to me. I want I want to have meaningful, you know, work. I want to have an impact on my community. I want to feel light and I want to feel airy. Like, that's what I'm chasing. I'm not chasing a job anymore. Like, I'm chasing that feeling, and whatever gets me there is what will get me there. So that's the kind of life that I'm cultivating. I also want dinner parties, like the fairy lights, you know,
Ooh,
like
the outdoor, like when you have the vlog table and everyone you love is there.
Yes, exactly. Like, I want to be more connected to the people around me. I think work, like, especially in this profession that I'm in right now, that we're in, it's kind of, you know, torn a lot of my relationships apart. And I think I'm rebuilding that, right? Because I'm not a machine. I'm not a work machine. I'm not a labor machine. That's not what I am. I'm a human being, and I want to feel more like that, like, every day. That's the life I'm chasing.
You know what was one thing, and I feel like we've talked about this a lot, is being present. So many times when you were in law school, we don't even need to talk about that, but you weren't present. Even when you were with your friends, you're thinking, like, how am I going to pass the bar? The bar? How am I going to do those exams? Like, I wasn't even present in, like, these real relationships that I wanted. And now I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what it costs me. I'm going to be present. Oh, you want me to do that assignment? That assignment is going to wait until I've had these conversations with my friends. So, last question. And I have to ask you.
Okay.
What would you tell your younger self?
What would I tell my younger self? I would just say, take time. Like, just chill. Like, just chill. Just, like, everything sorts itself out. Like, I feel like there's great... I guess, power in knowing that you have the agency to change your life, or like to create things. But also, so many things in my life have just happened, or not just happened. They happened by the grace of God, which that's how I lead my life. And, you know, I think I'm in total control, but it's really like things just have happened because they were meant to. And I really do believe that. I think just relinquish some of that, you know, control is also a huge part of how I cultivate my life. Or I'm trying to. I am a control freak. I really am.
I am too.
But, you know, and it started from a really, really young age. That's been modeled for me by my parents. You know, I think in a lot of African cultures, we're just very like, you know what I mean? Like, and like we have to, again, it's about things that we had to do for our own survival. Our parents couldn't just waltz in and be like, okay, let me just feel the vibes. You know, they were, you know, they were escaping war-torn countries, like in my case, you know what I mean? So, but now, you know, they've given us that privilege. So just like take time, ease into things, pray over things, and like whatever's meant to be will happen. Like that's what I would definitely tell my younger self.
I love that. And I don't even think we could end off at a better note.
No.
I don't think we could. So I am going to say bye, Basmah. If you would like to say a little 1-2 for the people who are watching.
Thanks so much for having me. Like, I'm just in the presence of royalty right now. Like, I'm not even worthy. I mean, no, I am worthy. We're both worthy. We're both worthy.
More than worthy.
Self-talk, no, very self-talk. Self-talk is that's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole different thing. But honestly, thank you so much for having me. This was beautiful. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, guys. So as you always know, I want you to know that I'm thinking about you. We are thinking about you, loving on you, and praying for you. If you want to see some of the things that Basmah is doing, you have to follow at Black Girl Feels. It is a platform that will really help you to kind of figure out how you want to navigate life and your mental health. And so I want to say bye. We want to say bye. And that we love you.